this meeting to order for the Clemson City Police Advisory Board for Thursday, July 24th. We'll begin with our roll call. Myself, Lisa Robinson, present. Jackie Myers.
Present.
Kevin Dull has an excused absence. Sandy Edge.
Present.
Our student representatives are out for the summer. Pablo Unda.
Present.
Elaine Masseri.
Here.
And Winton Hunter.
Here.
Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda, and I would like to make a motion that we include the City Code of Ethics and Conduct that you have in front of you to the agenda after the citizens' comments. That's a request from the mayor's office that all board and committee meetings include that.
You have a motion? She made the motion, do you have a second? Second.
It's been moved and seconded to include the ethics and code of conduct after the citizens' comments. And are there any other amendments or changes to the agenda? If not, can I call the question? All those in favor? Show of hands. Okay. All right. We will move on to the approval of the previous minutes, and those are in front of you, and they're also posted online. You take a few minutes to look over those. Okay, if you find the minutes in order, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the minutes from June 26th? Show of hands. Okay, all right. That is approved. We will now move forward with citizen comments. We don't have anyone here in the gallery. Were there any comments submitted to any board members to be read in tonight? Nope. Okay, hearing none. We will move on to the City of Clemson Code of Ethics and Conduct for elected and appointed officials. So this has been provided by City Council, and we'll just take a few minutes if you will all read through this. And this is a copy that you will be able to take with you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How come we didn't get this when we started earlier in the season? Are we getting
They
this?
City Council just approved it,
Okay.
and then it was sent out.
Yeah, they amended it.
Mhm.
And
It was
they're sending you the amendments.
It was sent out to, by the administrator, and we were asked to make sure that we bring this to our next board meeting and provide it to our board members. Yep.
Do you know what the amendments were?
I just received this final copy, but we can pose the question to
I mean, I
council
was just
to
curious.
I
find
think
out.
it defines more so what the expectations of board members are and what they can and can't do. I believe this is a result of the issues that were, I'm at a loss for a word, the issues that were perceived and were dealt with earlier in the year, late last year. And so some of the council went back and took a look at what the rules were and how they applied to some of the things that they were experiencing, and wanted to amend them to be clearer as to what the expectations were. And I think it is more specific about what you can and cannot discuss if the matter is coming before your board that you serve on, and when you can and cannot discuss those things, and what, they're not saying you can't have discussions or listen, but you have to be cautious about how you go about doing it, and I think that's what the ethics rules there are addressing.
So you're talking about ex parte communication type of thing?
Ex parte communication, communication within other groups, those types of things.
So I would imagine, I haven't checked, I imagine this is posted on the city website somewhere, maybe.
I'm not sure, it might even be part of ordinance, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so if there are any questions, we can provide those to city council or city administrator. But please make sure that you take this copy with you and read through it more thoroughly. And then if there are any questions, we can certainly review those. Okay, we will move on to department status, unless there are any immediate concerns or questions with this now. Okay, we move on to the department status report, please.
Okay, so we have one officer vacancy currently. We have interviews occurring tomorrow to help fill that position. We have two of our police recruits, for lack of a better description, who passed their comprehensive exam and physical exam. They start the academy on Sunday, so they'll be going down there for the next phase of their training. We have one officer who completed his field training and has been cut solo, so he'll be sworn in before council on August 4th. We have two dispatcher vacancies, I think actually, well, let me go back to the officers. So once we select someone out of the interview process and hire them, that would put us at full staff. Unfortunately, I learned we have two officers who are leaving us. So they'll be leaving us within the next month, so we'll be continuing to look to fill those positions. The dispatchers, we had two vacancies. One dispatcher started this week to fill that one vacancy, and the other dispatcher is coming in to give us their start date because they have to navigate leaving their current position where they're at. So we will have them, all of those positions filled, but we also know we have one who is retiring in September, so we'll have to fill that one. But we've been hiring a lot in that position, and we have people in various stages of training in that position right now. One of the candidates we just hired, though, is a former dispatcher from another agency and has a lot of the training and certifications already, so that'll be a shorter training process for them. And they've also worked with and used the product that we just went to, so there won't be a learning curve for that either, so she'll be fit in real quick. All of our new cars, the 7 new cars, are in. We have them. They are being sent to the upfitter and the stripers to put the striping on them. So we are getting that through as quickly as we can. August 9th, which is a Saturday, we have our Unity for Law Enforcement, which is our event for youth and the community to come out at Dawson Park. I believe the hours are 10 to 2? 10 to 2 out at Dawson Park. Everyone's welcome. We'll have all kinds of activities out there in addition to the playground and such that's there already. The only other thing, we did do for lack of a better description, drug bust since our last meeting over off at Issaquena. It was a known drug house. We had a several-month investigation that's ongoing. The amount of drugs and money that was seized during that particular seizure wasn't a lot compared to some of the other ones that we see. This was more about responding to community complaints about the drug activity going on there and eradicating that problem. And so that's what was the result of that. But I will emphasize that the narcotics detective position that we got through the grant greatly, significantly helped in dealing with that case. And with any other drug case, there are other cases ongoing that stemmed from that case. So it's not just a one and done. There's always stuff that we find out after we hit it that we need to follow up on. So that was very positive, and we actually received comments. We had all kinds of comments online on our social media, but the ones that I seek out and look for are the ones where the neighbors are commenting, "Thank you. The activity is significantly dropped. I can actually sleep now." Those types of things. So that's the goal for stuff like that.
And the two officers that are leaving, are they going to bigger locations?
One is leaving us to go to SLED, and one is leaving us for family reasons. He's going to be relocating, so, and from what I've been told, and he may change his mind, but he's getting out of law enforcement and going to work in another industry, but it's for family reasons, so.
And the grant, is that renewable? Is that?
We applied for
many
funding
years?
again next year.
Okay.
I've already submitted that application. I'm waiting to hear back. It's funding that comes from the federal government through the state government to us. And because the state government budget cycle and the federal government budget cycle are different, we have to wait until we're into the next budget cycle, this budget cycle that we just started, before we know if we're going to get the money for the grant, usually around October, November.
I had to step out. Could you repeat everything you said? I'm just kidding.
There's no more drug dealers at the Issaquena apartment that we hit. I'm not going to say there's no more drug dealers on Issaquena Trail, but that particular location's been eradicated.
Anything else in the crime review or any other questions on department status?
So you want me to do the crime
Yes.
review? Okay. For our crime review, our calls for service went up to 4,500 from 3,600 last month. Our traffic stops were almost double what they were. We went up to 605. We wrote 236 citations during the month of June. We did 8 DUI arrests, served 15 warrants, and these are arrest warrants, not search warrants. We incarcerated 37 individuals. Our minor and possession cases are starting to go up. We went to 8. Our noise complaints that we answered went down for the month to 4. I'm sure in July they'll be higher because of the fireworks, but for the month of June they were down. We had 9 animal complaints that we responded to, and we did a whole bunch of building checks and business checks. We worked 34 collisions, 3 of which had injuries. And our parking citations generally are low most of the time. In May there were 34, in June there were 11, and that's just because of the activity downtown. And we only issue parking citations on weekends when the parking enforcement folks are not there, or at night. So we don't see a lot of violations during this time, especially during the summer. So that's generally low. As far as calls we responded to, in the month of June, 3 simple assaults, 1 intimidation, 1 breaking and entering, 1 theft from a vehicle, 5 motor vehicle thefts. I know a few of those are scooters that have been taken, and some of which we've recovered. 3 vandalism, 9 narcotics violations in June, 1 weapon law violation, 1 cruelty to animal violation, and it has, did I have 6? I had 6 DUIs in June. Over here, I have 8, so might be an issue with the way it's being reported. And then there's 12 liquor law violations, which are a combination of MIP and other alcohol violations. So still working with our new CAD system and RMS system and running reports and getting numbers back and double checking them. And so I had to run reports 3 different ways to check the numbers to make sure it's coming back properly, and still learning that process. So I'm learning too, as well as my staff. That is the crime report.
Anyone have any questions for Chief on the crime review? Yes.
Any particular reason for the increase at the beginning of your presentation? You had 2 reports that had gone up. And the kids aren't back yet, so.
So talking about traffic stops?
Yeah.
So I would guess it's because of, the students are gone. However, during the summertime is when we send a lot of people to training, vacations. So the traffic counts go down during the summer. And then when I have less staff to enforce traffic during the summer, those numbers go down. During the month of June, our staff may have come back off of some vacations, whatever. They did more traffic stops. The other thing too is we had 3 or 4 officers in training during that time, during the month, and they're being evaluated. So they're encouraged to do more traffic enforcement and other things so that their evaluators can evaluate if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I would say a combination of all of that is why we had that increase in the traffic stops and the citations issued at the same time.
Any other questions on the crime report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the golf cart ordinance. And this was presented at City Council this week per our recommendation, putting it forward. And then next meeting will be the first read on that.
So Chair Robinson and member, I'm going to say Pablo's last name wrong, so I'm not even going to try. We're in attendance and spoke. It was the way our ordinances go. They have a discussion first before they have the first and second reading, and that's what this was this last week. We got very little feedback, a couple of questions, but very little feedback. They seem like they're okay with it. They don't want any alterations to it. And so they are scheduled for the first reading to occur on August 4th at the City Council meeting, and then the second reading August 12th, which is a Tuesday, not a Monday. They moved that meeting. And once the second reading occurs, it will go into effect. I still have not heard back from the university to see what the university is going to do. From what I understand, the university, even though they are technically a municipality, they don't have any ordinances, and when they pass rules like this, they have to go before the state legislature. Well, the state legislature is not meeting, you can't get anything done. So I'm not exactly sure at what stage they're at and how they're going to tackle this. I know that there's a desire to also use the carts at night on campus. So how they navigate that and what legal vehicle they put in place for that is up to them. So once I know, well, I think everybody will know once they make that decision, because I'm sure they'll publicize that.
Okay. Any questions on the golf cart ordinance or anything anyone wants to add?
I just maybe
Sandy?
make sure I've got this correct. The first read, the 4th, the 12th of August, the second read, then it becomes in
After
law.
it's read the
So
second,
by the coming of the first football game, it will be enforced.
it will be enforceable, yes.
Yeah.
I got a question. Did we
Interesting.
figure out what we're gonna do for those people coming out of town with their golf carts?
Our social media marketing folks will push stuff out once it's passed and get everything out there. Usually when a new law goes into effect, we encourage our folks to educate people before citing them. So I'm sure my staff as busy as they will be on the first couple of games, will probably use education
There'll be
before
a learning
enforcement.
curve, yeah.
And if they have to go the enforcement route, it may have a lot to do with the person to whom they are speaking with and the state that they are in at the time. But that's usually how we go about doing it. And I guess kind of related but unrelated, I don't know if any of you saw in the news, the state has passed a hands-free ordinance for using a electronic device while driving. It will go into effect September 1st, and it will not result in a ticket for the first 180 days. So basically they have 6 months of, it's just a warning to be issued instead of a citation, and then after that 6 months, it's a citation. And if you have not read it, I don't have a copy with me, but you can find it on the state legislature site, and basically it's very similar to Georgia's in that not only a cell phone, but any electronic device you cannot physically have in your hands when you're operating a motor vehicle. There are some exceptions that are in there for like truck drivers and that kind of stuff. But in essence, it's no electronic device can be in your hands when you're driving. The one exception though is if you're stopped at a light and your car is not moving, it's allowable, which I personally don't agree with, because how many people don't see the light change because they're messing with their device? But it has, if the car is not moving and is stationary, it has an exemption in there. But once the car starts to roll or is in motion, then it's a violation to have the device in your hand.
Do you know what the fine is for that?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but if you read the bill, the first offense is a certain dollar amount, a second offense is a higher dollar amount, a third offense, I think, is arrestable or chargeable with a mandatory court date.
Okay, any questions on that? If not, we'll move on to the parking deck ordinance. Any updates on that?
Yes, I've done some more research. The ordinance that I found out of Charleston that I mentioned before, I've learned is something that Charleston has chosen not to enforce because of the challenges of the ruling that was made about how loitering is unconstitutional. Most loitering laws were unconstitutional. Their particular ordinance was challenged several times, and they won several times, but every time they charged it, they were getting challenged. So they said, okay, we're gonna back away from that. And the way they chose to deal with the situations was most of their problems were people underage, 16, 17-year-olds. So they now have a curfew that they enforce. And that's how they address the issues. Where in our case, we are dealing with folks within that age group, but we're also dealing with folks that are between 18 and 21 that are engaging in the activity that we're dealing with. So I have to go back to the drawing board and look at another ordinance that would give us a leeway in that we're going to try to identify specific activity that would be unlawful or not allowable. And I think because that's what makes the loitering statute unconstitutional is it's not specific. It's just existing in a public space makes you loitering, and therefore you can be arrested, and that's what's unconstitutional. If you are specific about certain laws being broken, certain activities that are disturbing to the neighbors or something like that, but we have to be able to define them specifically so that an average person would be able to read it and go, oh, I can't do that, instead of just existing in a public space. So that's on my list of things to do. I'll try to bring back to you next meeting some examples of what I'm talking about, and we can have that discussion.
Okay. Any comments or questions about that?
Wait till the next discussion on it.
Maybe a clarification again, that cell phone thing. But a lot of cars also have the dash there where they have all the maps and all those things there, so that doesn't matter, but it's, I guess the object sounds like is you need to have two hands on the wheel.
Because you're not holding those are
Yeah.
like mounted,
so-
you're talking about the ones that are mounted?
So I know, yes, I mean, I can pull the bill up, I can try to pull the bill up. Let's try the law instead of bill.
And have you been in communication with the university to kind of coordinate getting educational information out in the area about this? Because I would think that a lot of potential,
scdps.sc.gov/distracted-driving.
SCDPS.
.sc.gov/distracted-driving. Scroll down. Right there.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the full bill, but you can find it right here. It says, new law prohibits drivers from using mobile electronic devices while operating a motor vehicle in the following ways: holding or supporting a mobile device with any part of their body. This does not prohibit the use of earpiece or device worn on the waist used for voice-based communication. Using a mobile device to read, compose, or transmit text, emails, app interactions, or website information. Watching motion, including a video, movie, game, or video call on a mobile electronic device. So that's how they have it. So I'm sorry, what were you saying?
well, I was thinking that's probably going to be kind of a steep learning curve for student population, because this is.
Talk about the golf carts
The
or this?
handheld, the hands-free.
Yeah,
And I was
I haven't
wondering if
had
there's
any
some
conversation
coordinated-
specifically about this law since it's a state law. I have a meeting with the university coming up on Monday that I can bring it up. But I think that's why the legislature said it's a warning for the first 6 months.
6 months.
So that you're getting issued a
People can
warning
get
for that.
used to it.
Yeah. What I don't know is if, SCDPS does a good job of doing advertisement, PSAs, that kind of stuff. I'm sure they're gonna put this on their list of things to put out there, and when they share those things, we'll share it on our social media as well.
Okay, any other discussion on that? If not, we can move on to the end of the year meeting dates. And I think we had already discussed in the last meeting,
September 4th.
the September, right, thank you.
So September 4th was the August meeting. We pushed it to September 4th. And I think in the minutes, you discussed determining whether we were gonna meet again in September or not. You'll have a regular meeting in October, but November and December are falling on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so we won't meet those 2 months unless we pick another date. So that's what we need to, don't have to decide tonight, but start discussing if you wanna keep September and then just go to October's meeting and then maybe pick a date early November to meet, and then not meet in December, or however you wanna do it.
Are
Open for discussion.
we required to have a certain number of meetings in the year?
No.
No, there's no requirement?
I don't believe the ordinance requires it.
Well, while he's looking at that, I was thinking, we meet September 4th, then we meet early October, so it won't be too long between meetings. And then we can meet at the end of October then.
I know I will be at a conference in early October.
that was just my suggestion. I was
Yeah,
throwing
so
out
I'm
there.
just gonna, I could tell you the dates here.
That would be, or we,
Could meet mid-October to satisfy, midway, satisfy that.
or do it early November? Is that difficult for folks to do in early November?
18th through the 22nd.
I'm sorry, what's that?
He's at the conference, the 18th through the 22nd.
So I'll be traveling
Of
back.
October?
So the regular meeting is October 23rd. I should be back in town by then. But if you want to move it to another date, then we'll have to figure out what's available the early part of October. Because one of the things we have to do is find out if the room is available.
Oh, right.
Because other Thursdays, the plan board or other, they may have the room, so we have to see if it's open.
The golf court, sorry, the golf court cart ordinance that would have had their first and second reading, so do we need to do anything else on that?
No,
That
we're
should
done
be,
with
once
that.
they vote,
And then
that's
the
it.
only other thing at this point that I see before the board would be if you wanted to talk about the ethics thing again and/or the parking deck issue. So is that something that we could reasonably wait to have the next meeting?
So if we do the September 4th meeting, if we have the regularly scheduled meeting on October 23rd, suspend November and December and resume regular meeting in January. If there's no requirement that we have to have a certain number of meetings in the year.
Actually, I'm looking at it now, according to the ordinance, it actually only lists that we have to meet January, March, May, July, September, and October. And other meetings are as necessary.
Okay, so we're
Oh,
having.
so then that would,
Yeah.
anyone have any issues, concerns about that? If we do what we said, September 4th, we already discussed that, and then have our regularly scheduled meeting October 23rd, Chief should be back by then. Does that seem good? Can we get a motion?
I move that we have the next meeting in September and October, as stated by the chairwoman, and be back in January.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. I want to second it,
Okay. All those in favor, show of hands.
He's still looking.
Oh, you're still checking dates?
I'll put the device down.
Yeah.
He should him a warning.
Have any opposed, any abstentions? Are you in favor? Elaine?
I'm fine.
Yep.
Just so
Okay.
I'm clear, for the meeting dates, we voted to keep the September meeting, both September meetings, just the one.
September
And then the
4th,
regular October
and then
meeting.
October 23rd.
And then we won't meet again until January.
Until
Okay, just
January,
needed to make
yep.
sure I had that right.
Okay. That
And
looks-
I'm guessing you have the discretion as a chair to call a meeting if needed be.
If there's something, I mean, if there's
If
something
we need
major
one,
that comes
we
up,
can
yeah.
discuss it at one of the upcoming meetings. The bill, the version of the bill for the distracted driving is Senate Bill 90, it looks like. Because I'm pretty sure they have not put it on the website yet for the actual law itself. But this section is not applied to a motor vehicle operator who is lawfully parked or stopped, initiating a voice-based communication that is automatically converted by the device and sent as a text. So voice to texting is permitted, but you can't support the device in your hand while you're doing so, provided the device is not held by the operator or supported with any part of their body. So you can still voice to text, you just can't hold on to it. If you're reporting an accident or emergency, you're exempt. Transmitting or receiving data as part of a digital dispatch system, and that's where the delivery drivers come into play. Person is a first responder while performing official duties, so that exempts us. So you can read all of this at your leisure.
Senate Bill 90.
Senate Bill 90, yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have requested presentations. I think Chief has lined up active shooter information for the next
For September.
September meeting. Okay, and then anything on board member open discussion, the next item on the agenda?
I got something.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
What's the deal with the, I heard it on Fox 21 last night about the scam. Do you know anything about it?
I actually got an email earlier today. I wasn't aware of it until I saw the email.
I figured you'd send something out to
What
us if
scam
you
is
knew
that?
it. Well,
So-
you can explain it.
It's more specifically, what I was made aware of is, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting a text message. Specifically to the email that I got this morning, I learned later that scammers out there were copying letterhead and sending a violation notice supposedly coming from the plan board to developers saying they're in violation and they're being fined for certain amounts. And they wanted to wire transfer money, which is a clue, because whenever you wire transfer money, it's usually a scammer. I wasn't aware of it until it was brought to my attention, but apparently the planning department was made aware of it because the people who received the notices called and said, what's going on?
Just in the city of Clemson?
Well, this particular scam, they were using City of Clemson letterhead and sending it to people who have applied through the planning department for permits and those kind of things. So all that is publicly available on our website because of our open records laws and that kind of stuff. So they were mining information off of the public site and sending it to folks saying that. If there's other cities that they're sending that, doing the same scam to, I'm not aware of it.
Has there been an investigation open to try to figure out how that
Usually when
occurred?
you have wire transfers like that, that's an overseas scam. And you're not gonna get any information going on outside the continental United States.
The other thing is, I wanted to thank whoever put the speed sign back up on Is the Queen after my,
Oh, right,
I
you
will-
mentioned that, yeah.
I will say that the delay in that was a technical delay because when the sign was first put up, the electronic devices we used to communicate with it to set it up, for lack of a better description, the internal electronic policies in the city changed, and that device no longer could communicate with those devices. So it took this long to talk to all the techie people to get the thing to be able to talk to the speed sign, and once they were able to do that, then they were able to put it back up. But that was what the biggest delay was they couldn't communicate with the signs anymore.
will they be putting up the rest of them?
I do not know that, I've not heard.
I'm just curious. But I'm glad we got ours because,
Okay, anything else on board member discussion? We already had citizen comments, and there wasn't anyone in the galley. Were you here to make a comment?
I was thinking about it, but I have a further question about the email scam. So, it was, I heard it on the news last night in Fox, Carolina.
Can you come forward just to give sign and give your name? I'm sorry, that's the protocol.
That's okay. I heard it on the news last night, on Fox, Nanda Edgerton, Charleston Avenue. Hi, Tala. Ooh, I heard your name, oh, yes. So, anyways, I heard it on the news last night, and I was kind of like half listening, because I was tired. It was 10 o'clock, they put it on. And, I'm thinking, what is going on? What is this, right? So I tried to find out about it this morning from, contacting the city, but I never heard back from anybody about it. And then finally, by the end of the day, the city did put something out on their website and their socials. But my question was, if there was a scam going on, email scam, regardless of if it was more geared towards developers seemingly, because if you look at the fines that they were trying to charge, it was geared towards more developers than residents, but it could have affected residents too if they did any kind of like renovations or anything to their property, they put an application through. But if my point was, and a lot of people that were very upset about it that learned about it, is why didn't the city put out something as a warning to let the residents know before the end of the day?
So Chief, if this were something that your office became aware of, is that something that would be sent out or done as a press release and posted on social coming from the department?
If we get multiple calls that's what's coming out, we'll put something out there. If it's a one-on type of thing, generally we won't put it out there, but if we see a lot of people do it. But we alert people of scams all the time about stuff, and we have information out there about if this is in the message, more than likely it's a scam. Call and verify before you send anything. Because we get spoofed a lot. They'll use our detectives' names saying where they've got a warrant, and if they don't turn in Apple gift cards to this thing by a certain time, then we're going to come get them. So there's all kinds of variations thereof that we deal with. So when we know, and we get a lot of phone calls from people that, hey, what is going on here, we'll try to notify the public.
But if the city knew about it, why didn't they let the police department know about it? You said you didn't know about
I
it.
didn't know about it. I was out of town yesterday, but it wasn't on our pass on, so
And how long has the city known about it?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have problems with all of that. 'Cause I
So
feel
that
like
might be a question to pose to the city administrator and just ask what their
I did.
protocol is for that.
No, I did. I contacted the city administrator, the mayor, anybody else that I thought was pertinent to that email. I emailed them and asked, and it was complete radio silence until the end of the day when something was finally put up.
Okay.
So, but you can imagine that it's not a good look for the city or anybody because a lot of people that live within city limits are older and are susceptible to scams like that. And even if one person wired that $5,000 that they were asking for, that's one people too many, in my opinion. So if the city knew, Jacob Peabody was the one who talked to the news about it last night after the planning commission meeting. And if the city knew about it from yesterday, nothing was put up until the end of today.
Well, there's a council meeting next Monday, Tuesday, Monday.
There was a planning commission meeting yesterday.
Yeah, that would have been more planning commission.
Yeah. But that
So
might be-
anyways,
that
I
might
just
be
wanted
something
to say this in front of y'all because it's dropping the ball, in my opinion. And it's my opinion, I'm entitled to it.
Of
right?
course.
But I'm not the only one who feels that way. So I just wanted to put it on the record that it was not a good look the way it was handled, and maybe they should rethink about how they put things out to alert people. We don't want to press the panic button, obviously, for things, but learning about a possible scam that people could be susceptible to would have been nice to know.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, is there any other discussion, anything from the board?
That's all I got.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, we are adjourned.